Okay. All right.
I was told they can't work later than 3:30.
How much does the late call tomorrow?
Was there one today?
No. Nicole.
Okay, welcome to my class.
Thanks.
So you have a booklet that you can follow along as we go along. So I am Jenny. I'm a birth doula and placenta encapsulator, and I do birth and newborn photography. And I am also, of course, a childbirth educator. I started this whole journey in the childbirth world when I lived in Haiti at a maternity center for 6 months. And through being there, I realized I loved supporting the women during labor. And then, so I started my doula certification and then started my business. And then got my placenta encapsulation training. And then I had done photography for a while, so then I just started doing birth and newborn photography. I started doing birth photography in Haiti, and then I learned newborn photography once I got back. I was raised in Grand Haven here, and my husband and I still live here. We don't have any kids yet, but soon. And we have a cat, Gus. So that's a little bit about me. So if you want to open your booklet to the first page there, just the mission of this class is to equip you with the tools you need to make educated choices in order to have your birth your way. Through non-biased information and a hands-on approach, you will learn about physical and emotional aspects surrounding birth. So we are going to start off. If you guys just want to say your names and when you're due, what you're having, and something interesting about yourself.
My name's Jenny. This is my husband, Alex. Our due date is about 2.5 weeks away. And we are going to be surprised with a baby. And everything we know is it's a healthy baby. Don't know if it's a boy or a girl. And we're interesting. In so many ways now. Alex and I have been together for about 10 years, which is a really long time. But time flies when you're in love. So, yeah, that's the best I got. What else is interesting about us?
Something most people wouldn't know, or something, a random fact. Too many to pick one.
We like to bike.
We do.
Bike, nice,
Bicycling.
cool. Okay, so first we're gonna start off. Oh, do you have like a pen or a marker or something?
Wow. Do you want like a Sharpie?
Sure.
Sweet.
Forgot to bring one. So we're gonna start off just writing down some things about.
Each size, just in case.
Thank you. I'll take these too, but thank you. So what are your initial thoughts when you think of birth, as far as just anything that comes to your mind when you think of birth?
I think of hard work.
Okay.
Emotions.
What'd you say?
Emotions.
Mm-hmm. Any specific type of emotions that you're thinking of?
All of them.
Yeah.
Every
From
single one.
Happy
Just
to
pure elation
worried
to complete terror. And
Scared, happy, worried, amazed. I guess that's not really an emotion.
I think it's an emotion.
Yeah.
I think it counts.
Good. Anything else?
Think of like the ultimate reward. Like There's an ultimate prize at the end.
The baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Baby is the ultimate prize.
Pain.
Pain.
Yes.
Intensity. I think my brain goes to the hospital for birth, even though that's not my dream.
Uh-huh. Yeah. What about sounds? What kind of sounds do you think of when you think of birth?
Screaming.
Mm-hmm.
Moaning.
When you say screaming, what made you think of that? Like, what have you seen or heard in the past that makes you think of screaming?
Just the TV
Yeah. Yep.
portrayal of birth
Yep.
is
For sure.
scream,
Screaming.
screams, and baby cries.
Yeah. Or it's like water breaks, rush to the hospital because you're screaming and your water broke,
Mhm.
and then you have a baby, which only 10% of women's water break is the first sign of labor. And usually labor, it might start right when your water breaks or soon after, but it's not usually that intense where you feel like you need to scream. So, but it's drama for TV and movies, so
Right.
it's you to watch.
Right.
Okay. What would be some scary parts about birth?
Medical intervention.
Okay.
Something happening to mom or the baby.
Mm-hmm. So like something goes wrong.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Like blood.
Mm-hmm.
Not a huge fan.
Mm-hmm.
And the risks. I mean, that kind of goes with something going wrong, but just
Right.
the risks that are associated with birth is kind of scary.
What are some specifics that you're thinking of?
I suppose tearing
Okay.
is one that I thought of immediately.
Yeah.
Like hemorrhaging or bleeding
Yeah.
a lot.
If I spelled that right, but we get the idea.
That's a good
It's a
word.
big word to
It's
spell.
a lot. Yeah, I need spell check.
Right? Click the suggestion. Okay, so let's move on to the next page, which is your ideal birth. So we talked about the scary parts and what we think of when we think of birth. So maybe things that are the opposite of what feels scary, or the opposite of, if screaming feels scary, what would the opposite of that? You know, things like that. So what are some things that would portray your ideal birth?
Like dim lights and like a relaxed environment.
Okay.
Staying in control.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What do you mean? Can you expound on that a little bit?
Yeah. Like that. I feel like stuff might be able to get out of hand.
Mhm. Like with the intensity of
Yeah,
everything,
yeah.
and just kind of going a
Just
little
get
crazy.
overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Overwhelming.
Yeah, for sure.
So keep all that at a minimum.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Like having good influence and like a good head about your shoulders.
Yeah.
Mhm. Being able to like think things through.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else you guys can think of? not tearing probably.
Yes.
Because you said that was one of your
Right.
fears.
Right. And a natural delivery, I guess, would be another thing that would be ideal rather than like a C-section.
Okay. And why, what are your reasons for wanting a natural birth?
Some of it's selfish. I want the recovery of a vaginal birth rather
Mhm.
than a C-section.
Mm-hmm.
But also, just because I think that there's a lot of help to the baby by going through the process that our bodies were made to go through. So I want to learn more about that by going through it.
Mm-hmm.
But giving the baby the best start that we possibly can, I think.
Yeah. So, as far as feelings, what would you feel?
In
Like
the ideal
emotions.
situation.
We talked about emotions. So what kind of emotions would be there if it was ideal?
Supported.
Supportive, happy.
I think your in control idea is one of the feelings that I would want to feel.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of that powerful feeling.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So, what actually happens in labor? So first what happens is when the baby's fully developed, he's fine. When the baby is fully developed, it communicates with your body that it's ready. So both of your bodies communicate with each other, and then that's when labor starts. And that is caused with the hormones oxytocin, which is the love hormone, which we'll talk more about, and then prostaglandins, which ripen the cervix. So those hormones, especially oxytocin, causes the uterus to contract. Now, contractions are your uterus, it's got muscles on the side and on the top. So the side muscles are squeezing, and it squeezes the fluid out of the baby's lungs. It doesn't hurt the baby. And then the top muscles are pushing down, and the side muscles are also pulling up to open your cervix. So then effacement. So I've got this little picture here. So this is your cervix. You can see it's getting thinner there. Oh, where did it go here? So it's pretty thick right there. So effacement is when it's starting to get thinner. And then you can also see that it's dilating a little bit right in the middle. Does that make sense? And then this is fully dilated. So when they talk about effacement, that's how thin your cervix is. And you can dilate and efface at the same time. So you might be 5 centimeters dilated and 80% effaced. So that's a good sign. Or if you are 1 centimeter but your cervix is really soft and 80% effaced, like that's a good sign because you've made some good progress as far as the effacement, even if you're only 1 centimeter. So that's what that is. And then the cervix dilates, so it has to open. And then the station, I put in the book train station because I feel like it will help you remember what it means. It's where the baby's head is. So if you think of the baby's head being, so once you can see the baby's head, it's +5, and it goes by centimeters.
Like
So
from the outside?
Yeah, like once you
Okay.
can see it. That
Okay.
+5 is once you see the baby's head. So 0 would be the baby's head still 5 centimeters inside of you. So they still, so maybe you're like 6 centimeters dilated, but +2. You know, so like that's a good sign. You know, you're progressing in some other ways too. So those are good signs. So the whole train station thing, I felt like, because like when the train comes up to the station, it stops, and so like that's where it's at. So that's kind of with the whole head thing. Just because there's a lot of words with birth and medical terms, I felt like that might help you remember it a little bit easier. And then, once the baby is delivered, then the placenta is delivered, and I actually have this here. I actually made this.
Oh.
So this is the side of the placenta that would be attached inside of you. I mean, it's all inside of you, but this is the attached. It's the side that's attached to your uterus wall, and then the baby would be in here with the cord attached to it. So this would be like the bag of water. So then this detaches once the baby's born, usually within 5 to 20 minutes. And this is what supplies the baby with nutrients and blood and oxygen while it's in there right now. So we're gonna do a little activity. I should have put these in before. This is just to show what the uterus does and how it's effective in getting the baby out. So you guys are gonna be the muscles of the uterus getting the baby out. Maybe.
Maybe.
Okay, do you want to blow that up, or do you want me to?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Don't want to deprive you too much oxygen. There you go. Okay. So you can hold it with the open part down,
Okay.
and then the ball should sit right down there, and then
Yeah.
you can probably let go. No?
Oh, it plugged.
Oh, okay, good. You're pull yours up a little more.
Pathetic uterus. You were gonna try and get off easy.
She's like, what is
Piece of.
Okay, so let the ball fall to the bottom and then let go of it. I see it twirling around. So picture the balloon as the uterus. So you are gonna be the muscles on the uterus, so you can either squeeze. So think of, I'll show you.
Yeah.
So these side muscles, they squeeze in and they pull up. So you're gonna squeeze in and you're gonna pull up and push down on the top. See how that's,
Yeah.
see how the bottom of it is getting thinner?
Yeah.
So that's like effacement, and then it'll open and then the baby will come out. So, yeah, this is almost there. So think of that as effacement, as it's thinning out. And just keep pulling up, pushing down on the top. And then you have a baby, eventually.
Look, it's
That's great.
Look,
It shouldn't pop, it should
look,
just
Alex,
come out.
look, my baby.
Yay! She wins!
Birth race. Yours is broken.
Broken.
I'm gonna give birth.
Well, I mean, I guess it's good that you're better at it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Since
I'm
you have to
supposed
do
to
it.
be better at this. It's like sideways.